Minneapolis South High School is the site where the most anticipated game of the season will take place. Keystone Productions is proud to present the rematch of last year's Class 4A Girls Basketball Championship with the Minneapolis South Tigers and the St. Paul Central Minutemen. The Super Bowl of Minnesota girls basketball kicks off shortly. Hello again, everyone. I'm Mike Needon, along with Tony Gear. Tony, you can sum up this bout with two words: Central South.
Last year was kind of an anticipated result with a 20 or 30 point finish in both the Twin City game and in the state championship finals. This year, Central is not as strong. They've shown that they're vulnerable with losses to Centennial and to Poly from California. South has shown that they're vulnerable with loss to Hopkins. This should be a great contest.
Now, Central may not be the team hyped up to win this year's state title with a 15-2 record, but they have three NCAA Division I players steering the ship. One of them, Tayler, just recorded her 1,000th point last night against Arlington.
She was 4 points away. She got it with about 5.5 minutes into the game. It was kind of a nice thing for her. She's a third player from St. Paul Central, and I think it's this season on this roster to do so.
On the other end, Minneapolis South has proven they are much stronger than last year. They are 3-1 against top 10 schools this season with wins against Becker, Kennedy, and Eastview. In fact, they're ranked above Central nationally by MaxPreps.com. Coming into today, South was ranked 20th in the nation. Central is 33rd.
South has shown that they're very strong with the early commitment by Tayler Hill on her work ethic and her skills, with a lot of folks saying that she's WNBA material right now. Minneapolis South is more than just Tayler Hill. They've shown that over the last couple of years. And again, I can hardly wait for this, the first of anticipated 2 or 3 matchups between this team this year.
Okay, now we'll look at the keys to the game. We'll begin with St. Paul Central. First, they have to stay out of foul trouble. Minneapolis South is not a team you want to be performing too many lineup experiments against. If their starters get into foul trouble early, St. Paul Central could be in big trouble. Second, they have to contain Tayler Hill. We've seen what Tayler Hill can do this season when she's let loose, and she'll strike opponents from anywhere in the court, inside or outside. They have to work to stop her. And finally, they need to keep the rest of the South players to an average game. Minneapolis South is led by their marquee three, and if Tayler Hill has trouble, they need to make sure the rest of her options don't step up. Tony, what does Minneapolis South need to do?
As you said, they need to hold, St. Paul Central needs to hold South to an average game within the team and not let Tayler Hill loose. Letting Tayler Hill loose, though, is anywhere from 30 feet on in. You know, she's got that range to hit from half court on a regular basis, as she demonstrated in the Hopkins loss with a couple of late threes. On the other side of that, South needs to have more ball control than they displayed against Hopkins. They need to be more patient than they displayed against Hopkins. Granted, Hopkins was on a third game in 3 days in a row, and this will not be. But I think South understands what kind of game they're getting into with Central.
Who will write the next chapter of the Central-South rivalry? We're about to find out. We'll now take a look at the starting lineups. We will begin with the visiting St. Paul Central Minutemen. For Central, the starters will be Sienna West at guard, Sierra Taylor at guard, Kiara Buford at forward, Georgie Jones at center, and Megan Howard at center. Central this season has a lot of ways they can beat you. 4 of their 5 starters average double digits in scoring. And for Minneapolis South, the starters will be Tayler Hill at guard, Taisha Smith at guard, Avisha Holmes at guard, Gabrielle Roberts at forward, Takoya Hammock at center, and there's no question about who the playmaker is for Minneapolis South.
Tayler Hill, number 3.
Central wearing white today, Minneapolis South wearing their familiar black jerseys. We have a near capacity crowd waiting to get this game started. Tip off is made. Here we go. Central will get the first possession.
South is in a player-to-player defense.
Taisha Smith comes up with the steal. She leads the state in that category. Kiara Buford, that's a clean block. No whistles called. And here comes Central. Buford's pass intercepted by Tayler Hill, and now we're going the other way. Hill takes it herself, gets the basket. South strikes first. Hill averaging 21.8 points per game coming into today.
I think both teams realize the importance of this game, the caliber of play they're playing against. You're going to see Buford and Hill really step it up.
South in a swing motion. West draws a foul.
That'd be Taisha Smith from behind. Her first, team's first. No, they gave it to Roberts.
One thing in the last game we televised South Kennedy, South had some issues with foul trouble.
South has a bench where they can handle those issues though.
Indeed. Sienna West misses her first free throw at the line this season. She is 3 of 6 and hasn't had too many attempts, but she gets the back end. Central using a more three-quarters press this time. Vija Holmes finds Hammock. Buford's right there to disrupt her, and that may have saved the basket, but she gets the ball. Never mind. Kiara Buford with the strip.
Hammock went up real strong, but it would have been wiser to kick it out to the open player.
West for no good. Rebound, Hammock. Hammock, the tallest player on the court at 6'4". Holmes drives it herself. Count it.
On the made basket, we saw Central going to 1-2-1-1 three-quarter press with pressure. And South seemed to handle it once they got under control what they were looking at. Central is also in a man-to-man, as is South.
Kiara Buford gets called for her first personal foul. Vija Holmes at the line to complete the three-point play. Successful. And South has opened up to a 5-1 start. Now South trying to use some full court press. Taylor stops, pops short, rebound Hammock. Now she's in trouble, gets out of it.
It's very important for somebody to let Hammock know that they're available for the outlet, and she should have had an outlet on both sides. The only outlet she had was Holmes on the defensive side of the ball.
Now Central trying a zone. And South is taking their time. Hill finds Holmes. Foul.
Holmes tried to step up into a double team from Howard and Jones, and that's kind of a tall duo to step into.
The foul's on Megan Howard, her first personal. It's a non-shooting foul. Holmes tries again. No good. Jones comes up with it, and she draws the foul.
Fouls on Hammock.
That is her first. Jones leads the St. Paul City Conference in rebounds at about 10 a game.
South is in a 2-1-1 float full court defense. Goes into a man.
Jones, too strong. Taylor races in to get the rebound. Overthrows Kiara Buford.
Taylor saw Hill hanging around and tried to get over Hill's head. The problem is Buford isn't that tall.
Buford at 5'11", about an inch taller than Hill is. And Central wastes an opportunity. Taisha Smith finds Hammock, and she knows what to do.
Taisha Smith shows you what a point guard is supposed to do. Be aggressive and attack.
They made Central pay on that mistake. Now Buford goes to Jones on the inside, and she gets 2 points from the paint. The first field goal for St. Paul Central.
Central dropping back into a half-court pressure.
Hill gets the ball stripped, and Buford picks it up. Central has gone with more of a half-court defense this season. Buford gets the left-handed hook.
Buford is attacking the lane, especially on the side that Roberts is on. She is prone to foul.
Taisha Smith overthrows Takoya Hammock, and Central has a chance to tie or take the lead on this possession.
Full court man by South now.
Buford to West. To Taylor. Taylor gets tripped. And Holmes will pick up the foul.
That was a wrong place, wrong time foul. It was decent defense outside of that.
The foul is Holmes' first personal, the team's third. Buford looking to Jones, goes to Taylor. That's 2 if it falls. No. Rebound goes to Gabrielle Roberts.
Roberts was able to get that because Hammock knocked it out of Jones's hands.
Hill for 3. No good.
Foul from behind on Howard. Both teams being very aggressive on the boards.
That is her second personal. That's one thing that hasn't changed from a year ago. These two teams are going to be very aggressive, and they're going to come after each other.
New players into the game for South, it's Julio, and for Central, it's Johnson and
Brittany Dorsey.
Dorsey, thank you.
Taisha Smith gets the foul, and count it.
Taylor, who just got her 1,000th point last night, committed the foul. That's her first, team fourth.
Fouls piling up early in this game. Smith for a 3-point play, successful. Dorsey stops, pops, in and out, gets her own rebound, goes to Buford, and Central will reset.
Extended man defense by South, making Central play a little further away from each other for passing lanes.
Hill nearly got the steal. Now Buford is inside, spins around, fires, misses. Rebound goes to Jones, and she cleans up the mess.
Excellent inside play by Jones. And did you see the way Buford used her back foot to try to get another foot closer to the basket on that shot?
Holmes cannot answer. Jones with the rebound. Jones has 4 points for Central. Buford, well short. Hooley picks up the rebound. And now Holmes, that's for 2. That was no good. This time Holmes picks up the steal. Taisha Smith is open. She's too strong. Holmes cleans up the mess.
5-point lead now for South. Central's going to call a timeout because South has gained some momentum on the full court pressure.
They're a much different South team than a year ago. Well, while we're on a timeout, we're going to throw to the rosters on both teams and hear what they had to say on what this game means to them. So we'll take you to the players now.
We always like to play South just because, you know, I mean, we've beat them my freshman year, they beat us my sophomore year, and then we beat them last year, so, and they want to beat us this year, so, you know, it's good for us, so it'll be interesting.
But I think that South and Central, I think that it's a huge game because of they beat us last year, so now we want our victory back.
I think it's really important to me, our matchup against South. Last year we beat them twice, and I think this year our team's different, so and South didn't really lose anybody. So I think it's going to be another big statement game for us this year, just as it was last year.
If we can beat Central, then we can beat any other team. And Central, they're a good team, even without Angel. I'm saying they're a good team. So when we play them, it's going to be a challenge.
Well, it's always a big game, and it's always one the crowd and the players look forward to. So we just have to go out there and play hard.
You can't really explain it with words. It's just the best thing I think anybody will see coming out of Minnesota.
I think that they're kind of like one of our rivalries, our big rivalries. So it's going to be a big game, you know, everyone's going to be there. And so it just gives us more, you know, motivation, and we have to go out and beat them.
When we beat them, then yeah, everybody will know who is actually good, because they had an all-star team last year.
It's going to be a big game. A lot of people are going to come out there to support us, but if we play hard and do what we are capable of doing, we should be fine.
We rejoin action. No substitutions made during the break. Now we see South trying full court press. Dorsey looked to get inside, but South shut her down. Taylor from long distance, swish. Taylor gets the first basket of the game. It's 12-9 in favor of South. Taisha Smith runs around Buford. Can't get the basket, but does draw the foul.
Coming in late to try to get the block, I believe, was Dorsey. Nope. They're going to call that on Jones.
And it's her first. Central with one foul left to give. Taisha Smith back at the line. Makes her first. Smith coming into today averaging 13.6 points per game. It's tied for the lead in steals at 6.7 a game, and she's 2 of 2 here. South is 4 for 4 from the free throw line in the early going. On the other end, Buford uses the right hand and gets the bucket.
Central did a great job of being patient and looking for the open player.
Central using a 1-2-2. And a foul is called.
It's not like the referees are trying to establish control because the contact has been there. But what the referees are establishing is this is how the game's going to be called. This is what you need to look for when you're playing your defense. And I think that's great at this point.
The foul is on Brittany Dorsey, her first. Central now out of fouls to give. Holmes from the free throw line. I think someone got a hand on it, and Jones comes up with the ball, and she draws the foul.
Roberts gets her second foul. As I indicated earlier, she's prone to make contact. That just means that she's an aggressive player, that's all.
Roberts picked up 4 fouls in the South Kennedy game. But as you mentioned, and as Emil Jihab will tell you, South has a much deeper bench than they did a year ago.
Europe guy, a transfer from North, is in, as well as number 21.
Amisha Kearney. Taylor from the three-point line, no good. Jones with the rebound, no good. Rebound, Taisha Smith. Taisha Smith waves away through a double team to get the layup.
She had to reach back to make that shot, too. What an athletic move.
She's only a sophomore, and we have a blocking foul. It's going to go against Europe Guy.
Buford went up to catch the ball. Guy was trying to be right there. She was just a half a step too strong. One thing I've noticed about the shots that St. Paul Central is taking, they're not squaring up, they're not balanced. They're putting the ball up just to put it up. They need to get away from that.
They're still down by 5. Jones inside, too strong. And no, the rebound was by Tasha Garrett. That didn't fall. South will get possession.
I haven't seen Garrett before. I don't recall seeing her when I watched the Long Beach game.
Garrett, averaging 8.5 points per game, hasn't gotten a lot of playing time until late, which might have to do with their conference schedule. We'll talk about that in a minute. Tasha Garrett breaks up the pass, comes up with a steal. And now Buford goes coast to coast, sinks it.
She hesitated the South defense by looking like she was going to pass it off to the right before the shot. And it's a great ball fake move by the Division I signee for the University of Minnesota.
Hill wanted to spin around, goes back out, finds Smith. Holmes wanted a three, goes to Smith instead. She goes to Kearney. Now Kearney will fire, but Taylor's defense prevented anything from happening. Taylor for three. Well short. Minneapolis South will take possession.
The 4 or 5 possessions going up and down the floor that I've seen Garrett play, I can understand why she's in this lineup at this time for Willie Taylor. She anticipates very, very well.
Hill, swish.
Tayler Hill is just hard to stop. She'll pop and stop at any point on the floor, and I literally mean any point.
Garrett from long range, no. Your guy comes up with it. You're talking about Hill. The last 2 years, she led the state in scoring. This year, as she drives again, and she'll go to the line for a 1-and-1 situation. This year, Hill is not leading the state in scoring. That position belongs to Julianne Mitchell, but Hill has spread the offense much more this year.
And one of the advantages that Julianne Mitchell has at Edison is the fact that there's not a large supporting cast for her like there is here at South for Taylor. Taylor can afford not to be the top scorer in the state, and her team will still win. At Edison, it has to be Mitchell or Reed.
Hill makes her first. Again, she averages 21.8 points per game. Her rebounding numbers have also improved this season.
Samantha Robinson-Ricks is also in the game for Central, along with, I believe, Brianna Reeves checked in, number 23. There she is, no, she didn't. I know she was getting ready to. Robinson-Ricks handling the ball.
Hill makes both free throws. South is 6 for 6. Sienna West misses her target, Georgie Jones, and South will get another possession.
A 7-point lead for South, and you can see the difference in the confidence in their game between South and Central, especially when you look at the shots. As I indicated earlier, Central is not squaring up.
Hill to Holmes, back to Hill. Goes to Europe guy inside, and a traveling violation is called.
Coaches teach at jump stop and get going, and there are a lot of coaches that teach it correctly, and some players just learn it wrong.
South trying full court press again. West to Kiana Johnson. Johnson, uncontested, bullseye!
I don't think she'll be left uncontested much longer.
Brings the lead back to 4. Hill looking to respond. Bullseye! You can't leave Hill open from behind the arc.
You can't leave Hill open, period.
Can't leave her open in half court. Ephesian Holmes comes in with the steal. Hill has a 1-on-2. No basket, but a foul is called. She will go to the free throw line.
I believe that foul is going to be on number 14. No.
It's on Kiana Johnson.
Kiana Johnson.
Her first personal.
5'6" junior. And one of the differences for South on defense as opposed to Central is right now South is being patient and putting their hands in the passing lane at the reception point. They're not reaching, they're not diving into the passing lanes, they're just putting their hands there.
Hill has broken double digits in scoring as she gets the front end. South has yet to miss a free throw. Substitutions coming in for Central. Megan Howard is back in. And for South, Takoya Hammock steps in for Europe Guy. Hill makes both again. And on the other end, Taylor had an open look and was too strong.
Nice look by Johnson, though, at the guard position on that possession.
And Hill gets broken up. It will stay South possession. Central doing what they can to shake them up.
Taylor swept at that ball from behind as she was late getting back on defense.
For three, that's Kearney. Short. And we have a foul on South. It's against Takoya Hammock.
Didn't we just praise her for the last few games?
We did. She picks up her second personal. South out of fouls to give. Taisha Smith nearly gets the steal. She doesn't have a problem picking up steals on her own side of the court. Buford kicks out to West, to Johnson. Johnson, they got her on the three-point line. And Buford will go to the free throw line.
That was a fortunate play by Buford because Hill was in proper position, getting ready to block that. She just happened to pull the ball in to start her shooting motion as she was going up, thus getting tangled up in Hill's arms, and Hill committed the foul that way.
That's her first personal. Buford makes her first. She is an impressive 91% from the free throw line this season, 64 of 70 coming into today.
For that reason alone, any college coach would love to have her. Any college coach would love to see their players hit 79 or better percent.
And she gets both here. It's 25-18 though in favor of Minneapolis South. Hill lays one up. No basket, but another trip to the free throw line. The foul is on Tayler Taylor.
The one difference you'll notice in the referees between the Kennedy game and this game is these referees are actually communicating very well with the players. What's going on, the calls they're making. They're very authoritative and allowing the players to understand what's happening.
Hill now 5 of 5 from the charity stripe. She has taken control of this game early. Make that 6 of 6. Howard to Buford. Buford inside again. And she'll get another trip to the free throw line.
Once again, she turned around great. She was getting ready to go up, but South played such aggressive defense, it was difficult for her to square up and get a decent shot off. It's not that Central needs to stop doing that. It's that South is playing that well on defense, one-on-one.
And something rare for Buford to miss from the free throw line. Amisha Kearney will get tagged with her first personal foul.
You have to mark that on the video. It could be the only one you see all night. Okay, 2.
I think you spoke too soon.
Announcer's jinx. Holmes with a long distance, no contested look.
And Central will get possession. It's one of those things where if she makes it, it's a great move. If not, you might say she went too quickly.
That's a shot that Holmes usually makes, though. I don't see Emil on the bench as the South coach going, no, 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 yes on that kind of a shot. That's one where you see Willie going, no, 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 don't block, but dang.
Taylor did block, and she'll get called for a foul because of it. Holmes will now get 2 free throws. That is her third personal. She's in foul trouble. We talked in the keys to the game. Central needs to stay out of foul trouble. With 6:25 to go in the first, as Holmes misses her first, Willie Taylor has to take her out of the game and send in Kiana Johnson. As we said in the open, you don't want to be making too many lineup experiments against Minneapolis South.
No, and I think Central is in their starting lineup. Did West start?
West did start.
So the Central is in their starting lineup with the exception of Johnson in for Taylor. Kramer's into the game for the first time for South, and South, showing that what a strong bench they have, is now they are 9 deep into the game.
Kramer struggled in the Kennedy game, did not score and fouled out. Buford to Jones. Jones can't get the backboard. Megan Howard cleans it up. Howard is known for her offensive rebounding.
Central needs to step up the defense. It may look like they're playing a strong half-court man, but they really need to step it in just a little bit more into the lanes.
Sienna West is open, and she capitalizes.
6-point game with 5:40 to go in the half, and we're going to get timeout by Emil at South High.
South was up by 10 just a few seconds ago.
Hey, I got the stupid trivia fact of the game for you for this game. Are you ready?
You ready?
Do you know who Vince Flynn is?
I do not.
Vince Flynn is a local writer. He's got a series of books where his main character is Mitch Rapp, a CIA agent. His sister, Kelly Flynn, has been the athletic trainer from NovaCare Rehabilitation for the Minneapolis City Conference for nearly as long as I've been around, and that's 20 years. The stupid trivia fact of the day.
Brought to you by Tony Gear. Speaking of trivia, we have some other players here today. Megan Knight from Centennial is attending today's game. Megan Knight, one of the two marquee players for Centennial, and a big reason why they're a big favorite going into the state tournament as the one to beat.
Centennial has a lot to play for. The last number of years, they've had some difficulty getting out of their region and having a solid experience in the state tournaments. As I indicated to you off mic, South and Central have had that experience. Centennial is just showing a little more hunger.
This rivalry has gone back for a long time. Hill to Smith for three. Bullseye!
Hill taking advantage of the double team, finding the open man, which was Smith at that time, and Smith took advantage of being wide open.
Smith has double digits in scoring. Buford wanted Jones to go inside. That didn't work. Buford now from mid-range gets the bounce.
And that's something that's missing in basketball now with the three-point line, is that mid-range 14, 15-foot shot.
It was only 20 years ago that there was no three-point line.
You say only like you were there.
As Hammock gets one just outside the foul lane. I wasn't there, but thanks to the internet and channels at Air Classic games, you can see you can watch games from the old days.
The Back to the Day channel?
The Back to the Day channel.
9-point lead again for South, 4:35. Central with the ball.
And South trying a zone of their own. Howard, double teamed, finds West. Central will reset. There's no shot clock, so you can take as much time as you want, but that's not going to get it done.
Georgie Jones saw the ball fake going to the top. She hesitated on her move down the lane, and she was faked out on the offensive end.
South once again has a chance to put this lead back up to double digits. Foul away from the ball.
Howard tried to fight her way through a pick.
It's on Mallory Kramer.
Kramer didn't hold her position apparently. I saw the reaction, and a lot of times that's what referees see. They don't see the initial contact or action, but they'll see a reaction and call that faster.
No free throws on that foul. West, too strong from the three-point line. Howard tried to clean it up, no good. Gets her own rebound, and third time it's a charm.
The reason there were no free throws is that was a team control foul.
Smith to Holmes. Holmes drives herself and scores. Holmes has no problem attacking the basket, and the lead is back to 9.
She makes up for her height difference with a lot of defenses with her athletic moves on the inside of the lane.
And South scooping up the ball, any chance they get. Kramer with the steal. Hill drives herself, too strong. But Holmes with the rebound. To Smith for 3. No. Rebound, Dorsey. Now Central on the other end. Buford is disrupted. Central will keep the ball.
Roberts is in for Kramer for South, but one of the smart things that Buford did there is she didn't get ahead of her defensive player where she knew that Dorsey couldn't make the pass.
Central will retain possession. And height not a factor for University of New York Buffalo. Aphisha Holmes will be going there next year.
Next time out, you'll have to ask me about the connection, Minnesota connection for that team. This might be a good time to tell you, former University of Minnesota coach Linda Hill McDonald is the head coach there. Former St. Paul's conference player Kara Pearson is an assistant coach there, and Kara played ball for Willie Taylor there. Although Holmes is from Minneapolis South, there's a strong Metro connection.
Aphisha Holmes, speaking of her, got called for the foul. It's her second personal, and Jones makes her first. Jones, 59% from the free throw line this season.
Both teams above 10 team fouls, so it'll be 2 shots no matter what the call for the foul here on out, more or less.
And speaking of college recruits, Jones is going to Marquette next year. She's 2 of 2 here, where she'll join Angel Robinson, who's already starting for them.
And Marquette does a lot of recruiting in the metro area. They've had players from Burnsville and the West Metro, little travel from Tayler Hill there. Player number 10 off the bench for Emil. The daughter comes in.
Sadaka Jihad, number 23. With 2:43 left in the first. Sam Robinson-Rich is also in the game for Central. The South fans wanted a 10-second call. And Emil wants a double dribble, won't get it. Central will reset. Buford nearly loses it. Goes to Jones inside, she's double teamed, and she is fouled.
I hope it shows on the video as well as we see it here how off balance Central is when they're shooting.
The foul is on Gabrielle Roberts, her third. These two teams picked up right where they left off last year in the Class 4A state championship game. Jones missed her first. With 2:17 to go in the first, we just might see how deep these benches are for both teams if the fouls continue to pile up. Oh for 2 for Georgie Jones.
Have we seen a free throw made since we brought it up? That should get him on track. Holmes got stripped from the ball.
Buford comes up with the steal. Central hasn't taken much advantage. Buford for 3. Bullseye! As I was about to say, Central's had a problem taking advantage of turnovers. Buford sinks one from downtown.
It's been a long time since Central's been within 2 possessions of Minneapolis South.
And here they are, down by 4 again. Holmes. Pass is stolen by Brittany Dorsey. whose pass is picked off by Taisha Smith, but she stepped on the line. It wouldn't have mattered anyway. Dorsey was there to pick off the pass.
Well, it mattered on a fast break basket for Central.
But they still get possession.
They're going to do a T-box setup. Robinson Rich. Another one of those head fakes for Jones.
That's two that have gone by Jones today. Amisha Kearney stepping into the game again.
She replaces Jihad.
Minute 15 to go. Holmes to Kramer. Kramer fires, no good. Dorsey with the rebound. Just under a minute to play. Buford for three. Air ball. Hill comes up with it. And now she's going the other way. Too strong. Gets her own rebound. Short. Another rebound. And she'll go to the line. 2 offensive rebounds by Tayler Hill pays off.
That possession was literally Tayler Hill against St. Paul Central. She dribbles out of triple team down here on the defensive end, drives right into the lane and discovers another double or triple team, puts up a couple of shots and finally gets fouled.
The foul is on Kiara Buford, her third personal.
Oh, they haven't made that decision yet. Yeah, they did. They were just checking.
And Hill, who has not missed from the free throw line all game, has a chance to increase it. And the streak continues. But it was a close one.
I was starting to think that announcer jinx was going to carry. Howard has 3 fouls. She'll step back in, replacing Dorsey.
Takoya Hammock stepping in, replacing Amisha Kearney. For 8 for Tayler Hill from the free throw line. Central, they may hope for the final shot. They may try to make something happen. Johnson wants a 3, gets the 3. No good. Last touch by Central.
Hammock had the ball knocked out of her hands, but I thought Hammock reached for it and maybe got a little tip on it. But they're going to say that she had that Jones touched it last. Buford's going to get an extended halftime rest.
I'm sure Willie Taylor considered the fact Buford had 3 fouls, doesn't want her to get 4 before the first half ends. Hill gets another trip to the line. The foul's on Dorsey. She's not happy with it. And Tayler Hill, she's starting to make the free throw line her new home.
She's going to draw a lot of attention as the year winds down, especially in such a strong section that they're in with Hopkins, Minnetonka. Armstrong, I think, is in that.
10 for 10.
Some players know how to step up in big games.
Tayler Hill's done that today. And Central had some miscommunication, and they waste a chance to get one more basket before time runs out. Now South has a chance. Smith, too strong. And that's how the first half will come to an end. But South has been dominant as they bring a 39-31 lead into halftime.
Central is doing an excellent job of trying to hang with South, but they're making some mental errors in their shot selection is there, but their position is not.
Well, we'll take a break, and at halftime, we'll bring you to Tracy Buford, Kiara Buford's mother, for an interview, and we'll hear a little more from the Central and South players about the game and some other things. So we'll take you to that, and we'll see you on the flip side. I'm here with the proud parents of one of Central's players, Tracy Buford, Kiara Buford's mother. Tracy, you followed Central throughout the season. How do they look this year compared to a year ago?
You know, they're looking really good this year. I would say the only thing is that they really need to gel. They really haven't gelled yet, so they're still looking to play a little bit more together. But, you know, they're just as talented as they were last year.
And how do you feel your daughter has progressed throughout her career since she's been starting all 4 years?
You know, it's really nice to see her step up each year and take it just a little bit further. And hopefully she'll continue to do that. She's really taken on a leadership role this year, which she really needed to do. So, you know, her progression has been really nice.
And how do you feel she will contribute next year to the University of Minnesota when she dons the Golden Gopher jersey?
Well, I'm hoping she can go in there and, you know, at least contribute. I know that hopefully they're looking for her to do that. I've heard some rumors, people ask me, are they going to redshirt her because she's a little on the thin side, but I really think that she can go in and really help them out.
And what does Central have to do for the remainder of this season to go back and win the state title?
You know, I really think that they just need to really work together as a team. They really just, like I said, haven't gelled as well as they could have. Step up their defense a little bit more, and I think they'll be right there. I mean, you know, on getting to the state shouldn't be that difficult. Don't want to look past anybody, especially Creighton. But, you know, once they're there, it's going to be a tough game every game.
Now, last question. You and your family have been wearing these hooded sweatshirts for the last few years. What are you going to do next year when she finally becomes a Gopher?
We'll have to get new ones. We're going to be all ready to break out a new Minnesota Gopher sweatshirt. That's for sure.
All right, thank you. Tracy Buford. We start the second half. South will have possession. Again, they're wearing black. Central wearing white. Original 5 on the floor for both teams.
Central playing a little bit of a matchup zone. They're not extending it at this point. They're pretty much playing the perimeter at the three-point line. But again, see Buford step out a little bit. It's kind of a matchup zone.
And the double team pays off. Taisha Smith called for the traveling violation. This hasn't been a situation Central has found themselves in most of the year.
Only one other time, I think, that they found themselves behind at half.
And I think that was against Long Beach Poly.
I know it was.
Georgie Jones.
Great call by the official. Georgie put her head down, dipped her shoulder into the defense, tried to come up. You can't block in the basketball game. You got to have pads and a helmet.
She gets called for a second personal foul. We'll see if South can capitalize off the offensive foul. Going back to Central and their record, their other loss to Centennial, Central was leading at halftime, and at one point they were up by 12 in that game. And let that one slip away. Buford tried to get the steal, but to no avail.
Central on this matchup zone is double teaming the ball on the point position when the ball's trying to be presented into the interior.
Another South turnover, so no harm, no foul somewhat for St. Paul Central. Howard gets a shot, but we've got a charge, and we're going the other way.
Gabby Roberts did a great job of holding her position. Kiara Buford came in, looked like she was going to stop and pop, but she extended her body motion forward on the pass-off, and that was what resulted in the player control foul.
And now South will get to play the second half without having to worry about Kiara Buford. She picks up her fourth personal foul. One more, she's out. Dorsey comes in to replace her.
Buford was a steady force for Central in this game. They were the smart one.
And we're going the other way. Offensive fouls all over the place.
Again, dipping the shoulder.
This time it's on Takoya Hammock. That is her third personal, and now South has 2 players sitting with 3.
That was away from the ball, but Hammock did dip her shoulder into a player to set a pick.
And if the refs, you're going to call it one way, they're going to call it the other. Central could not capitalize on that turnover. Ephesian Holmes weaves her way through, but can't make the basket, gets her own rebound. Wants a 3, pump fakes, goes for a 2, no good, rebound Dorsey.
Hill McDonald must be really looking forward to Holmes and that body control she has when she weaves in and out of the lane.
Holmes with the basket and the foul. The foul is on Brittany Dorsey. That is her third.
You talked about South needing to stay out of foul trouble. I think we forgot to mention that Central needs to do the same.
Indeed, Dorsey has her third, and now Robinson Ricks has to step in again. Both teams had over 10 fouls in the first half. They're an aggressive bunch of players.
The referees are letting them play, but they're also taking away some contact, which is a good thing. I think the referees have done a great job this contest, as opposed to, I won't mention the South Kennedy game that I saw earlier.
Dorsey West couldn't work. Megan Howard cleans up the mess. West made a great move to get through the double team, was a little too strong. Megan Howard finishes the job.
Megan Howard was Janie on the spot.
And Central's going to need to do a little bit more of that if they want to come back. Smith went for 2, no good. She worked her way out of coverage there by looking like she was going to take the 3. Taylor on the other end, short. Rebound Smith, she has numbers. Spinorama, traveling violation is called.
That was a great move by Smith, but when she discovered that she was spinning out of one defensive player into another, she hesitated just that 1/2 step, which created the travel.
And we're going the other way, a traveling violation on Tayler Taylor.
A lot of energy and a lot of aggression by both teams.
I think it's becoming contagious on both ends of the court.
I think it's announcer jinx.
15 minutes to go in the second. Hill. Stop for a moment, goes to Holmes for 3. In and out. Fight for the rebound. And Jones is tripped up.
Although Jones was double teamed when she got that rebound, in that particular instance, she should have either kept her position with the ball high or pulled it down and done a couple of side steps to make herself become open. By putting the ball down directly from the high up position, she exposed the ball.
Holmes has her third personal foul. South has 3 players on the court with 3 now. Tayler Taylor will draw the blocking foul on Roberts.
Just a hair late and a little too far into the basket. Roberts did a great job of putting the effort in.
And now South has their first player with 4 fouls. It's Roberts. Tayler Taylor goes to the line.
The thing for South, though, this is not new for Roberts.
Taylor makes her first. She has struggled this season. Just 11 of 23 from the 3-throw line coming into tonight. Misses his back end, although you can't criticize her too much. As we said last night, she broke the 1,000-point barrier for St. Paul Central. Smith open for 3. No good. Hill with the rebound. She'll take a 3. That cat doesn't fall. Georgie Jones comes in to take the ball away.
See how Georgie Jones learned how to bring the ball in and work her body into position that time? She remembered and she learned from her mistake.
And if that wasn't called a foul, the South fans would have gone into a frenzy there. Robinson Ricks almost tackled her.
Robinson Ricks did a good job of getting into position. The unfortunate thing is the arm is not an extendable part of the ball, therefore the foul was called. And you notice that Smith had no problem with it. You know, so if the players have no problem with it, what's the problem with the fans? Both players know this is a hard-fought game, and both players going for the ball, no problem.
Smith had 10 points in the first half, makes the front end. The fans might have been looking for a flagrant foul, but they're not going to get it.
Nothing flagrant about that. Just going after the ball.
Once again, the lead back up to 10 for Minneapolis South.
It's been as high as 11.
West to Jones. Jones jumps back and gets a short-range shot.
Nice little fadeaway from Jones. Good body balance that she didn't have in the first half.
Jones has 8 points for St. Paul Central. Hill, spinorama. No good. Tayler scoops up the board. Pass is broken up, stolen by Aphesia Holmes. We're going the other way. They have numbers. Holmes uses the backboard to bounce it in.
She also used Hammock, setting a pick, and Tayler Hill started that by putting a hand in the dribble lane to get the ball loose to start with.
Quick shot by Tayler, no good. She gets her own rebound. Kicks out to Megan Howard. In and out. Jones comes in with the rebound, and we have a foul.
Howard did something that most players don't do in that position. You're 3-4 feet away from the basket on the baseline. She had an opportunity to use the backboard, not try to just put it in the hole.
The foul is on to Koya Hammock, her fourth. South now has 2 players at 4 fouls.
And both of those players come out.
Europe guy Mallory Kramer are back in. With 13-14 to go, I think we're going to see just how deep these benches are for both teams. Taylor wanted a 3. West overthrows Megan Howard.
She must have thought Ashley was still down there.
Ashley is a little bit taller. It's one thing some basketball coaches don't like is those long cross-court passes.
Especially when you're crossing the lane. It's so difficult to pinpoint those passes.
They say the way to penetrate is to use short diagonal passes.
Quick, short diagonal passes.
Taisha Smith had a look, could not convert. Megan Howard with the rebound. Taylor for 3. Off the mark. Georgie Jones can't get it to fall. Gets another rebound. And the third time is a charm.
Georgie Jones put the ball down to check for air, to get her feet better set for the second shot. And we got to give credit to Megan Howard as she has held her body in check and in control to get some very key defensive rebounds for Central to bring them back to within 8. And I say back to within 8, this is an accomplishment at this point for this team.
South could be up by much more, but both teams having some problems getting easy looks to fall. Holmes, traveling violation.
Some coaches will call that an elephant step. If you wave the ball out left and put it out to the right, you're going to get called for the travel, even though you're within your 2.5 steps. You can go one, but you can't go both.
Robinson Ricks, I think someone got a hand on that, but she's going to get 3 free throw opportunities. Smith was a little bit late with the block. Ironically, that is her first personal foul. We've been talking about that. Smith did not have a foul until that point.
Well, Smith has had no need at the guard position and out on the wing on defense to be committing stupid fouls, you know, in the passing lane. If you're going to commit a foul, you want to commit them on shots or in the lane to prevent a shot. And that's what Smith was trying to do, is prevent a shot.
Robinson Ricks coming into tonight, averaging 3.4 points per game, 2 of 3 from the free throw line. Coincidentally, that is her first 2 points of the game. Hill gets to her double team, count it!
At one point, if you go back and look at the video, Hill had the ball against her body and let it fall. The reason she let it fall is she knew if she pushed it down, it'd be a double dribble.
Fouls on Sienna West, her first personal. Hill, a perfect 10 for 10 in the first half, has a chance at a three-point play.
Not many players, especially juniors, would allow that ball to fall in traffic like Hill did. What a headsy player.
Hill has been considered as, has been compared to, as she gets the steal, compared to Dwayne Wade or LeBron James on some basketball fan sites. And Tayler's going to get called for the blocking foul.
I want to meet the person that's making that comparison, but yes, in terms of aggressiveness and the way she likes to slice into the lane, I can see where that comparison can be made. But I want to know who's making those comparisons, because in no way does she represent those players. She tries to slice like them, but her overall play is so much more solid than those two players.
Fouls on Tayler, her fourth. Smith throws the ball away. Tasha Garrett was sent in to replace her as Tayler now has 4 fouls. For the record, that same website also compares Kiara Buford to a Scottie Pippen.
I can almost guess what the website is now. I don't want to mention it.
Robinson Ricks for 3. No good. Kiana Johnson with the rebound. Johnson to Garrett. Garrett. Hill comes in and breaks it up. And Robinson Ricks will get called for the foul. Central out of fouls to give a 1-and-1 situation. I don't know if that was a good foul for Central.
Robinson Rich looks back at the referee like, how can you make that call? But players need to understand, when you make a mistake, you can't go right away to correct it. Sometimes, and this was one of them, you're going to be so aggressive that you just don't understand your body position.
And Hill, who has 20 points now, goes back to the line. 12 of 12. And you're seeing exactly why everyone and their dog has been scouting Hill. 12 of 13, that's her first miss. But still, 12 free throws, consecutive free throw attempts all going in. That's something.
I think Hill can blame that on me, even though I didn't say something. I was thinking I need to keep my mouth shut. Hill with a nice block.
And she'll go back to the free throw line.
Robinson Rich, again, making a mistake and trying to correct it right away. Again, the referee doesn't see the action, sees the reaction. It draws his attention. You don't know what your body balance is. She needs to take a deep breath and understand her position and her approach a little bit better. There's nothing wrong with being aggressive. She's just stepping in a little too much.
I don't know if you could see it in the video. I'll hang on as Hill gets her first. Emil Jihad is not taking any comfort right now, even though he has a double-digit lead. He was talking to Taisha Smith and Ephesian Holmes before Hill made her first free throw attempt. The rate she's going, though, she might just want to set up camp there, and she might want to set up camp there for a couple days. She is 14 of 15. Central takes a timeout.
This is the first time that South has extended their lead to 12. It's been 10, 11, 9 most of the game.
It was an eye-opener because we got more focused after that, and we realized it's not going to be as easy as it was last year.
After the first, like the first day afterwards, we were all upset, you know. But I actually think that loss helped us. Reality hit, and so we came out and worked hard the next week in practice, and I think it's going to get us going to win a state championship.
We were kind of upset because, well, I was upset because I mean, I know their whole team, and it was just upsetting because we've won all our games, and then to lose our second game of the season was a big, like, oh, kind of a letdown. But I think it kind of gave us, like, strength to be like, okay, we have to win this year and come out stronger.
Sometimes you need to lose in order to regain, you know, your confidence, and that I think that loss kind of helped us because ever since then we've been, not to say that we weren't working hard before the loss, but I think that really just shows us that we got to work even harder and we got to prove to people that like I keep saying, that we still got all this talent and that we can play together and still be that team that we were last year.
I told the team, before the game, they want to beat us. And even in the summer, we had this little scrimmage thing and they had beat us. So I'm like, we got to come to play. And we were up the whole game. It's just, we just came out second half, laxy-daisy, and they came to play. So I think it was a good lesson for us.
Taisha Smith with the steal. She's going to weave her way through a double team, but the layup is too strong. Gets her own rebound. Bounces it in.
On that fast break opportunity, and here's another one.
Kiana Johnson with the clean block, but South looking poised to blow this one out of the water.
On that first one, Buford was right there, but she was so afraid of getting that fifth foul, she didn't want to step up or step forward. She just held her ground, hoped for a charge. It's awfully difficult to play defense with 4 fouls.
In the Twin Cities game a year ago, Angel Robinson and Buford both played with 4 fouls. Central was able to keep the distance and win that one. This time around, it's South doing that.
Central had another weapon or two to go with that, though.
Guy wanted a 3, pump fakes, finds Kramer on the other end, bounces it in off the backboard.
It's a 16-point lead, 10 minutes to go in the contest, and as you said, South is threatening to blow this open. A 2-2-1 full court pressure zone by South, and they're playing it beautifully.
Coming into today, Central was the 4th ranked team in the state, 37th in the nation by MaxReps.com. And being stymied by Minneapolis South's defense and offense. A reach-in foul is called.
That's going to be a second for Smith, and we talked earlier about smart fouls and stupid fouls. That wasn't necessarily a stupid foul, but it was ill-advised.
Smith has a little more room for error. That's only her second. Johnson takes it herself, short. South will take possession. Wooly Taylor not happy with the call. He thought it went off a South player.
I tend to agree with him. There were 3 South players and 1 Central player, and the Central player was backing up.
Now the Central fans doing what they can to try to get their team back into it.
Central playing a 1-3-1 zone. They're trying to extend it a little bit as Hill took the shot.
Could not take advantage of the screen, but Kramer's there to steal the ball, and now Holmes picks up the 2 points.
Robinson Rich, while the game's in progress, is hanging her head. She just needs to continue forward and get past the mistakes.
There's a lot of time left. Kiara Buford gets called for the traveling violation.
Couple of baby steps.
South running on all cylinders today. But with 8:50 left, you talk about Robinson Ricks. That's a lot of time left to go in the game. It's not over yet. Kramer, the Europe guy, missed her first attempt and her second. West with the rebound. And Georgie Jones will get called for the foul as they tried to double team her.
Smith is going to get caught on that. She tried to prevent the fast break. Jones is going to go to the line, and Jones was out of balance with her body to start with. As a defensive player, if you can recognize a player and their habits and the way they're getting out of balance, as Jones was the whole game, you can anticipate your defense on that properly.
South out of fouls to give, but Jones misses it, so nothing doing for Central. That foul on Smith was her third.
18-point lead, looking to extend to 20.
South has done that to opponents all year long, much like Central did a year ago. Kearney wasn't able to use a screen. Johnson looked for the steal. Now Kearney has it Double team, but finds a way to make it work.
Kearney did a great job of using her body to gain an open position for the shot.
On the other end, Buford has numbers. And South lies to let it go.
It doesn't hurt South at this point. If it gets into a run, it does.
That's Buford's first basket of the half. Guy for three, no good. She has 15 points overall. Johnson with the rebound. Kicks out to Buford, but Buford had a little trouble handling the pass.
Hill's going to be called for the contact as Buford tried to go straight up and maybe lean a little forward.
That is her second. Timeout.
This is a smart timeout by South at this point. You're still up by 18, but you need to calm your troops down. They're starting to make stupid casual passes. You cannot be casual. You have to stay intense.
With just under 7.5 to go, this game is by no means over. Especially with these 18-minute halves.
Well, extending the game by 4 minutes as it's been the last couple years for the high school players, being winded and the length of the halves is starting to not become an issue any longer. Players are adapting. It's like when you threw in the three-point line, players adapted. When they throw in the shot clock, players will adapt. Are these things for the fans? Yes. Are these things that are good for the players? There's a lot of debate, and I want to bring up again, the three-point line has taken away the 14, 15-foot mid-range shot by players. It's all three-point shot or lane shots. There's no in-between anymore, and that's really sad.
Buford gets the front end. She now has 16. 2 of 2, 4 of 6 from the line. When do you think we'll see a shot clock?
1 or 2 tournaments used it already for the winter tournaments, and I would say that high school league has given notice, so it might be 2, possibly 3 years. This gives schools a chance to budget and fundraise for their equipment.
De'Ara Taylor came in with the block, preventing Kramer's short-range look. But South will keep the ball. Kearney for 3. Bullseye!
She just sat on that baseline and nobody found her.
Taylor looking to respond, too strong. Central not known for their three-point shooting abilities.
You see how much more intense South is on being aggressive to the basket and their passes coming out of that timeout, as I discussed earlier.
That timeout served as a wake-up call. Kiana Johnson will get called for second personal foul.
There are some comments in the paper this week that the high school league is going to adapt a mercy rule. They're not sure if it's going to be 30, 35, 40, or even 50 points. There's a lot of feelings that there's a mercy rule in a lot of the athletic events now, such as hockey and football. Why not add it to basketball? There's also a lot of feeling that if you're a weak team, you just need to get that much better and or not schedule the stronger teams.
Hill with the steal from the free throw line, in and out, fights for the rebound, and Central will take possession. That really becomes an issue, what you're talking about when you play inside the conference. Minneapolis South and St. Paul Central have been dominant in the last couple of years. Willie Taylor calls timeout.
If you missed it earlier, you're going to get to see some interviews that you didn't see in the first half.
Yep, well,
It was nice. It felt good. I mean, that's every team wants to win state, so to win it and have a 32-0 season, you know, it was great.
It was just like the best thing in the world, like perfect, you know, like life was just perfect. I mean, winning the state championship with their 32-0, title, that says something about like the type of program. And when we won, I was just thankful to be a part of, Central girls basketball, and I was thankful that Coach Willie was my coach, and I was just happy.
It felt really good, actually. It was like amazing to me, at least. I mean, not many teams do that, so it was a really good experience.
That's like something you'll never experience again, if you know, probably like never in your life. So it's something like unexplainable, really.
I want to make it there again, so I know what it feels like.
And baseball season's not for a couple months, but the South
Charge!
South is trying to charge up their fans.
Somebody discovered the computer audio and they're having fun.
Speaking of the Twins, they sent their pitching ace over to the New York Mets just yesterday for 4 prospects.
The Major League Farm Club and the Minnesota Twins.
I'll get to Minnesota sports in a minute. Kramer with the steal. Minnesota, the last couple of years, has been considered just a farm system for the East Coast.
Now, a little bit of the West Coast. Angels have taken advantage of some things on the roster, some opportunities. And we get a double team by Central, so South is forced to use a timeout. 6:05 to go in our contest, 21-point lead. Again, South is being aggressive, which is what they need to be. They can't be lazy on their passes. It develops bad habits. And some of those habits showed the last time I saw South at Minneapolis Roosevelt, where it was a 6-point finish on the contest. South did a lot of casual things. Roosevelt did a great job of staying in the game. It was a 2-point game with less than 30 seconds to go, and it turned out to be a free throw shooting contest. But at the same time, South was lazy in some areas of that game where they normally weren't. And you need to be ready to go night in, night out, because you never know.
Now, should these two teams play each other in the Twin Cities game, what do you think they'll take with them for the rematch, if that comes to surface?
Knowing Willie Taylor, he's going to be smart and look at the video and teach his players how to shoot with the hand in the face and how to shoot straight up a little more aggressively to draw some inside contact. There's been some drawn, but they need to draw a little bit more. South, they're going to understand that Central is going to improve in some areas, so they need to be prepared to play straight up defense. They've done a decent job here. The other thing that South needs to improve on is their awareness in their passes. They are somewhat smart and disciplined, but as in all high school or adolescent activities, aggression or the desire sometimes gets ahead of the thought process.
Kiana Johnson called for a 3rd personal foul. Tayler Hill now 16 of 17 from the free throw line. Kramer steps out. Taisha Smith steps back in. Buford to Howard nearly lost the ball, but that time she used the backboard to get the basket.
Howard does a great job of using that backboard. I wish more players on the baseline and or in the lane would learn to use it.
You're a guy with the behind-the-back layup.
Nice little reverse layup. And you see how South with a 25-point lead or 23-point lead is still in their 1-2, 1-1 full court pressure. And now they're going to go into a delay aggressive offense. Nothing but layups if they're presented by Central.
Hill came in with the steal. And Johnson pickpockets the ball away from Smith. Too strong. Buford with the rebound. She can't get it to fall. Saves it, hands it off to Jones, and she can't get it to fall. Three chances from short range, and all come up short.
If you're South, do you still stay in this spread offense even though you've shown that the defense is going to get to you?
De'Ara Taylor will foul out.
West comes in.
And we talked in the keys to the game, Central needed to stay out of foul trouble, and they needed to contain Tayler Hill. Neither of those things have happened. And you see why South has blown Central away.
shot selection is the reason South is winning this game right now.
Deja Holmes gets the front end. Tasha Garrett replacing Megan Howard.
Little turn of the tables here for Central. Last year they were winning by 25, 30, 35 points against this team.
Well, in this rivalry, it's been going back and forth the last couple of years, as we alluded to earlier, as Holmes missed the back end. 2006, South won both matches in the Elk River Christmas Tournament and the Twin Cities game. Last year, as Kiara Buford's too strong. Last year, Central won the Twin Cities game and then beat South in the state final. Smith is short. Now it looks like this year South is going to strike first blood in this rivalry.
As I indicated earlier, I strongly do not believe that one team or the other is going to win all three matchups if it gets to that point. These teams are very likely to meet in the Twin City game in a couple weeks. However, if they were to meet in the state tournament, if South is to win that Twin City game, wow, the referee just called a 5-second call. Close defense.
For Central, it might come just too little too late.
I would say that if South Central were to meet in the state tournament somewhere and South had won the Twin City game, it's going to be a whole different beast. I really do not believe that South can win all three games against this team. They have the ability. I just don't think it'll happen.
Of course, this game is a non-conference game. It has no effect on their conference record, which is what qualifies you to the Twin Cities game, as Hill gets 2 more trips to the line.
But these are the kind of games that teams need to schedule non-conference wise. Equal or comparison competition.
Earlier this season, Meal Jihad spoke on SPNN Sports Wrap and talked with Kwame McDonald about how Jihad and Taylor tried to schedule as many competitive teams as they could before they faced each other, just to try to build themselves up for this game. As Hill is 17 of 18, now could make it 18 of 19. And she does. And if you look at her score chart, she hasn't put up too many field goals, but the free throw line has been her source of points today.
But she has been the point of the defensive pressure at times. She has been the point of getting the ball around the horn and into the lane, so to speak. She has done some tips in terms of rebounds. That was a bad call by the referee on Holmes for that foul. But you'll notice how aggressive Emil wants his team to be. He's got basically his starting lineup still in there. He wants his team to learn to be aggressive and get that killer instinct.
Now South Central Europe guy going out to Koya Hammock back in. Amisha Kearney still in the game. But speaking about it, the last few games I've covered with Minneapolis South, Emil Jihad has never taken out Tayler Hill. Buford makes her first.
Taylor's got the ability to stay in the whole game. She knows where to get her deep breaths, where to get her breathing points. You can't say enough about how smart in terms of game conditioning, game activity she is.
Hammock, no good. Rebound Jones, but Hill nearly got the steal. Not quite successful, but as you alluded to, Emil Jihad doesn't want his players to let up at any point of the game.
30-point lead or 24-point lead, and he's still got his players going full court.
Well, he knows that Roosevelt only lost to them by 6, so it's not a shoo-in yet for Minneapolis South, and they have that loss against Hopkins.
Last year, South was surprised by Minneapolis North on their home court, and they showed a week later that that was a fluke. I'm going to tell you something. The referees are being a little more picky And if I'm Emil, I'm a little upset because it wasn't called that way earlier. But at the same time, I'm happy that the referees are making those calls so my players learn. Central is thrown in the white towel. Here comes Emil throwing in a couple of subs. Both coaches have agreed that this game is over, and some fans have already left.
Turn off the lights, the party's over.
You related to Don?
I'm not, but again, with the power of the internet, word gets around.
Dandy Don Meredith. Relaying words from Willie Nelson.
Now we're into stat padding time.
Why don't you tell us who's on the floor for Central?
Well, we have number 32, who is not listed on my copy of the roster. Laura Hansen, number 24. Tasha Garrett, Brianna Reeves, and Katavia Jones. Willie Taylor looking to get his reserve some experience.
32 is Maya Cyrus. M-A-J-A, last name C-Y-R-U-S.
And South has Jenny Hooley into the game and Sadika Jihad. Hooley, the three-point specialist, well short that time. But do you think these two teams will come in, if they face each other in the Twin Cities game, you think it'll be a lot closer?
If South keeps up the intensity they showed at times, no. If Central corrects some things, even though South may be intense, yes. I think it'll be much closer.
Tasha Garrett will get herself in the paper with that basket. And Emil Jihad takes one more timeout, probably to have a quick
It's a substitution timeout. Willie's not going to talk to his players.
And the South fans...
Referees are making them take a timeout.
South fans, they know what's coming. They know they have taken this rivalry back on their side.
It's just game number one is all it is.
And as you alluded to, it might be the first of three potential matchups if they both get into the state tournament. But Hopkins and Centennial look really tough.
Yeah.
Although Central did hold their own with Centennial, so...
And that was early.
That was early. You can't exactly call Central a bad team, although they did let that one slip away.
And they played very well against the number 2 team in the country, even though that number 2 team was a little down at the point. Boy, were they aggressive. They had a nice fast break, very good ball control players. That was a fun game to watch. Even though it was a 20-point game for Central, that was a fun game to watch and a good experience for Central.
Katavia Jones gets on the board. But I agree with you, this rivalry is far from being over just yet. And the fans starting to file out. Hooley will try to get another three. Short. 5 seconds. And this game is going to come to an end with Minneapolis South writing the next chapter in the rivalry with a 72-52 win. South moves up to 20-1 on the season. Central falls to 15-3.
Central will be back. They are not down in any ways in terms of their conference, in terms of their section. This is a nice non-conference game for them to get some experience against a high-quality, fast-running, disciplined South team.
Well, that will do it from here. Again, the final score, Minneapolis South 72, St. Paul Central 52. For Tony here and everyone else here at Keystone Productions, this is Mike Eden. So long, everybody.